Hi everyone. It's not a tinkering video today, but I thought I'd show you something really cool that I picked up in a flea market from Vienna last year. And this video is especially for Richard, one of my subscribers who was so helpful when I was working and tinkering on another pocket watch that I had come across. And I thought you'd like to see this, Richard. It's a really, really lovely pocket watch. It's branded Oriosa, which I think is a Swiss watchmaking company. But I do believe that this watch was made by Molnija, the Russian watchmaking company. Molnija meaning lightning. And I'll try and explain why I believe that is the case. First of all, you can see in English written down the bottom, it says made in USSR. So clearly this was made for export. And I guess Oriosa, the watchmaking company, commissioned them to provide the movement for watches with their brand on it. You can see it's got very close up this railway wheel here with the wings on it, and on the back of the watch is a very lovely steam locomotive, which I believe from my research on the Molnija, I'll talk to you in a moment where I've got a lot of my information from. This is a P36 steam passenger locomotive built around the 1950s, and I think this watch has been, this logo has been commemorated on this watch because it's one of the last steam locomotives that were built in Russia. But that, if you're a train buff, that's a really cool design on the back of that. I think Molnija made watches with lots of different designs on the back. Some of them were plain too, but this one has got the nice steam train on it. I believe from looking at the research, it doesn't make the watch any more accurate. It's not a railway watch as such, but certainly has the logo on the back. And I bought this in a flea market for, well, I had a little bit of haggling for the price of €20, which I think is a real steal for a watch. This movement here has got 18 rubies, 18 jewels, which I think is pretty good from what I know. I'm a novice. I don't really know much about pocket watches. But the research that I found, there's a chap called Guido Socher, S-O-C-H-E-R, and he's a collector of Molnija watches and has produced probably one of the most comprehensive information pages that I've been able to find online. And I will post a link to his page. It's absolutely incredible, and I found out so much information about this watch from it. And you know, if you're into Molnija watches or pocket watches, it's definitely worth having a look. It's so detailed and comprehensive. And I thought I'd open it up and show you the movement, because again, you know, I'm not an expert in pocket watches. I've always liked pocket watches, and this is a really lovely, again, hand charm, and it's a lovely thing to have for €20. You certainly couldn't buy a quality pocket watch for that price at, you know, today. I'll wind it up at the moment, and it's I've done it for about 20, I guess, half turns there. It actually winds up a little bit more than that, but I'm always a bit apprehensive about overwinding this watch. So I haven't set the dial or anything at the moment, but of course I tested it when I bought it and it seemed to be going well. And since then, I can absolutely tell you it keeps really, really good time. It's pretty accurate. You only need to wind it once a day, and yeah, it's a really lovely thing. So I'll pop the case open at the back. I've only just opened it up today for the first time, just to have a look at it. And so you can see there's a little slot there. You can see it's already slightly loosened. I didn't snap it shut because I knew I was going to open it up to show you. So I'll just well, gently prise that off. On the back, I'll just show you the back of the casing. You can see it's got that kind of machined lining inside. I did do a very gentle wipe around the rim. It just had a little tiny bit of dirt around there. There's a little bit of blackness there, which I don't know what it is, and I don't want to scrape or scratch it, so I've just gently rubbed over it. It doesn't want to come off. But the one thing I did find out is that because it's machined on the back like this, and not some of the later models of this watch were, this imprint of the train was stamped through, and you could see the reverse on it on the liner. So what I know for sure is this watch is pre 1990s, so possibly at the latest somewhere in the 1980s, but it's definitely not 90s, which is, I was pleased to read in that guy's research, because they, as they got closer to 97, I think the company, actually Molnija, were in business from, I've written it down here, 1947 to 2007. And I think the later models of the Molnija watches were, the quality wasn't as good. I think even the movement casing was a kind of brassy look rather than this shiny, I don't know what that is, I guess that's some kind of nickel or something. So let's have a look at the back, and I'll try and just tell you what markings I found on it. So on the back here, the markings that I found, you can see very carefully maybe in the light there down here, the letters SU, that's down here. Clearly that stands for Soviet Union, SU. There's a little number here, a 4-digit number stamp there, which is 3602, which I believe is the movement type. I don't know how close I can get up to you so you can see that. That's, might catch it, 3602, there you go. And then we've got some kind of serial number here, which it's not shown super clearly. Where it go? 140065. And looking at this guy's blog, he talks about various date stamps where some were stamped for the quarters. For example, it might be 0367. So that watch would have been made in the third quarter of 1967. Apparently they also change their serial numbers every 5 years or so, or reset them. So it's very difficult to exactly date this watch. So if there's anyone out here who's got an idea if that 140065 relates in any way to the date of this watch, of course you could assume maybe that's 1965, but I'm skeptical about that for a number of reasons, because I think the markings that I've seen on that website from watches from the 60s are definitely different to this one. So I suspect this watch is possibly somewhere late 70s or in the early 80s. So not that, well, vintage. What's vintage nowadays? 40 odd years. Could that be considered vintage? Anyhow, you can see there everything is working really nicely, and I mean, I know nothing, I don't really want to do anything else. I'm not going to do anything to this watch, attempt to clean anyway, because I have not got the expertise or the skills. So I don't know, judging by that, Richard, maybe you can tell me if you think that looks pretty clean inside. Certainly it works really lovely. Everything works lovely on it. It's got a lovely strong tick to it, and you know, I've got no reason, I think, to interfere with that watch, and I don't intend to. The guy's Guido's detail blog also talks about some of these little, I don't know what you call them, little plates they are. And from that you can determine the age of the watch, or the rough age of the watch. And you can see on the cheaper models, they didn't have the jewels there. They had some other kind of metal bearings or something. So what I have found out, which I thought was really interesting, is that this particular movement was modelled on the, I think it's called quarter bear Rolex movement that they used in the from the 1940s on their watches. And apparently it's a very, you know, very good design. I think this Molnija watches were quite reasonably good quality. And so that I found that really interesting, reading about other watchmakers using or copying other movements and things. So that was quite interesting. I think the factory was, for this Molnija factory, was in Chelyabinsk, which is in the Urals. They also had a factory in Moscow as well. Again, hard to pin down, you know, exactly where this particular watch was made. I'll just cover that up just momentarily while I turn it over. I won't snap it shut just yet. The face, I mean, it's really nice. It's quite yellowed. I have seen other ones on sale, since where the clock face is actually very white. And again, I guess I don't know, is this the crystal on top that has this yellowy look, or is it the dial underneath? But you can see around the rim it's definitely whiter, and I've seen very brilliant white looking faces on the dial when you look online at other images on Google. So it does make the watch look a lot older than maybe it is. It's really hard to determine that. So again, Richard, maybe you might have some idea. Well, I'm curious if you've ever come across this Oriosa brand. I did some Googling and I've seen other watches of that brand, but I haven't really been able to find much about the company, or, you know, don't even know if it's still in existence. So it's quite interesting. But I do like the numerals on this dial face. I think they're really elegant and cool. I don't know if there's a special name for that particular type of font, but I think it looks really lovely. So this is a lovely pocket watch made in Russia, clearly for export, for the Swiss Oriosa company. 18 rubies jewels, which again, to the novice like me, sounds like, you know, pretty good quality. It's got this P36 steam locomotive with its tender on the back. I haven't polished this up or anything. I've kind of just gently cleaned it and stuff. But I don't really know how to polish up this, and I'm not sure I want to, actually. Look, you can actually see there's a fingerprint in there, which is quite interesting. But it's not stained and horrible in any way, but I don't know, I don't want to lose the patina on it, actually. So I think I might kind of just, as long as it's reasonably clean. What do you think, Richard? Shall I polish this up or leave it as it is? I can see the little opening there for the front, and I'm not touching that at all. I'm not going anywhere near those hands in case I dislodge anything. I'll just gently snap it closed now, I think. Have I got it? Okay. Oh, I might close it properly afterwards. I did find in the flea market this little chain. I don't think it's particularly, well, it's not very, it cost me a couple of euros, I think, attached to another old watch that was on a stand. And at the moment I've just got it on there, clipped on there like that. It's not particularly elegant. Nice to keep it in your pocket though, in your trousers, jeans pocket or something. I have used it occasionally when I've gone out. Quite fun to pull out a pocket watch instead of rummaging under your clothing, or when your jacket's covered up and you don't want to get your watch out. I always like having a watch on me. I know I've got a mobile phone, but I don't like using a phone as a watch. So isn't that a cool item? So Molnija made Oriosa pocket watch from maybe circa early to late 1980s. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that, Richard, and everyone else. As I said, it's not a tinker, other than, you know, just the fun of researching it, seeing what information I could find, and the fun of haggling with the guy selling it at the flea market, which was fun. I think 20 euros was a really super price to pay for a lovely watch like that. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, I'll post the links in the description to the Guido's very excellent guide on Molnija pocket watches. And if anybody have any information about Oriosa, or have got an idea of what those serial numbers or really more accurate date, that would be super cool if you could put that in the comments. So thank you for watching. I hope you found that interesting. Bye.